So I'm riding this fever out that's been taking hold of me now for about 2 months. And I've been, I wouldn't say active, but I've had energy. Over the past 24 hours, that energy has been taken. And well, in one regard, that's a better sign. Don't ask how, but it kind of is. But at the same time, it really is more difficult to function. And I'm sitting here and my eyes are rolling in my head, and I'm not really able to eat, but I'm going to push myself to make something small. But I'm not able to rest in any way with my eyes rolling in my head, and this just gets a bit difficult to not be in a lot of pain when you can't rest your eyes. So I thought I'd make a live stream, and I'm like, what can I make a live stream about? At the moment, the spiritual downloads I've been getting would be a great story, but unfortunately they're not wanted at the moment in my life in terms of how they've been coming into my mind. It's not something you really want to be thinking about when you're really weak. So I want to avoid that subject. But I thought I'd put it out there to any viewers. Don't worry if this is viewed in the future. It's all interdimensional. And just have a little ponder, have a little think what you would ask someone with the experience of life I have in terms of mental health disorder, in terms of spirituality. Those are my two strong points on my CV. But beyond that, you've got the mental health system. You've got many aspects of spirituality. You've got the mental health disorder and psychosis, what it's like. And you've also got how I've been, I don't know what the right word is, but disassociated from society, being on the outside, being alone for the last 13 odd years. With spirituality, the concepts go as far as the master plan for all of the human race and our total healing as a universe. I concentrate on the 5 tribes: black, brown, yellow, white, red. And then beyond that, there's about 6 or 7. You'd call them aliens, but they're not really aliens, because they're aliens on one level. They come from like Sirius and the Pleiades and Arcturus and blah, blah, blah. When they come here on Earth, they represent an element of the contingent that makes up Earth. So you've got the mammals, you've got the insect kingdom, you've got the fish kingdom, you've got the bird kingdom. So I'm going to leave you now for maybe 30 seconds, a minute, to have a little think. Sorry for the poor light, I just can't be bothered to get up and open the sunshade. It's quite light outside, but where the phone is, it's quite dark. So maybe have a little think, and I'll get back to you and start speaking in about a minute. right now, what comes to mind for some strange reason is just, what does it mean to be a good person? So, there's 8 billion of us, isn't there? We've all been born into 8 billion different potentials of life on this planet. We've all come from spirit. Given my life, my belief is that pick anybody that was good or bad in history, more the bad, because the world supports that. So you pick Putin now, who's going to war, you pick Adolf Hitler, you pick any of these people that have had a certain level of input in their life in who they've become. And it's unfortunate that that's what they're remembered for, the bad they do in their life, because it's my belief that on some level they believe they're doing the right thing. They believe they're doing good, even if it's the sickness that took place, well, in all of the accounts, but especially in World War II, my mind's barely working in the imprisonment camps. I apologize, it's not really appropriate to get that word wrong. You know what I mean, the gas chambers and everything else. How could one man's mind create such a horrific set of circumstances for another human when they're trying to do a good thing? Then you open your eyes a bit more and you look at the pressures that someone was under. People trying to get to him, ruin his vision of bliss for everybody, really. Whatever it meant for Adolf to bring back the Aryan race, it must have been important for him. The swastika must have been a symbol for something, and why he stuck his finger up his nose and held out his hand while he was talking must have all been symbolic of something. And unfortunately, at that level, when you are at war and people are dying, it is a case of fingers in the eyes, knees to the bollocks kind of thing. You'll do anything for your own survival. So if we can understand that pressures of life really separate actions in this world. If you have space in your life when you're born, there's potential. For instance, Putin was born under parents of the KGB. What's the chance that he was going to have that space to be a good person, to what we understand a good person? It's next to no chance. And he's become the sum total of where he was born as potential. But he's a spirit, just like every other one of us. And that spirit is pure. That spirit is as good as every other spirit. There's no ego in spirit. The soul in this life has partaken within a role of bad, if we're talking about being a good person. But that sort of brings us on to a point, what does it mean to be a good person? And it's to understand that we are born into a pressured world. And I'm not able to think, so I'm just going to speak from experience of my life, because that is very appropriate to my life and the challenges I've had. How to be polite and appropriate at all times when I'm experiencing severe levels of distress and rage as a result of my physical and mental health. And this, we all understand love. It's a concept, really. It doesn't really exist, but it's so powerful in its concept that many people will surrender their whole lives to it, because what else are you going to do on this fucking planet? And it's such a good concept. It's so simple. Surrender to love in its absolute, unconditional love, to whatever level you're comfortable with. And just try your best, always, to be better. And it might be a case of you hit the wall one day when you can't be any better. And that's where the training begins. Your mind gets called into action to nitpick all those little details that are put in front of you to say, am I doing the best I can? Is this unconditional love? And it's a hard process to go through, especially the pressures I've been under. If you just keep it simple, know yourself that you have wanted to be a good person, you have surrendered yourself to this act of unconditional love to the best of your ability, because you have to love yourself to love unconditionally. And if you're not balanced like the way of the Buddha, you're going to create a lot of problems for yourself. So just keep it very simple. Surrender to something that's a higher purpose, if it's not unconditional love, truth, or whatever. But love is this thing that you can have inside you through the darkest times that you know. Even if nothing in life supports that feeling inside of you, you know that you've surrendered to it. All your actions are based upon it. And that's the thing that drives you. And as long as you're always doing your best, even in rest, you need to rest to do your best. And that's it. End of live stream. Well done, good person. Continue being a good person. You're doing a good job. And just keep it fucking simple, man.